Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time we're checking out Thrive Heavy Lies the Crown. This game was developed by Zoogaloo Entertainment and is published by PlaySide. This is an Australian-based company, and it's fantastic to see that the gaming industry hasn't died in my home country of Australia. PlaySide got on my radar after releasing the excellent isometric shooter Kill Knight, which I've also reviewed, and I covered the demo version of Thrive, which was a very solid medieval city builder despite a few small issues. Now with the release of the full version, they've sent me a copy for me to check out, and while there still remain a few little niggly issues, it's still a very solid city building game. So I wanted to show you my progress so far, share a few tips to get you started in the game, and show you why you should check out Thrive Heavy Lies the Crown. Welcome to the Kingdom of Dranoth. I've worked hard over the last 11 days to build this fully self-sustaining kingdom, which has a population of almost 200 people. Quite an achievement for the medieval age. Now we have agriculture, we have the beginning of trade and industrialization, and the village has grown at such a rate we are considering expansion. In fact, today's goal is going to be the expansion of the village to a neighbouring area, where we can find some very rare resources we cannot get in this sector. But before we do that, we have some housekeeping, starting with a village tour. Starting off, we have the keep. This is where me and the other councillors talk about the future of the kingdom. The residential area. Here is where all of the villagers are housed and supplied via the food stores, the storage hub, and these different wells which not only provide water but remove the risk of fire. To the left we have a planned expansion of the housing sector. This is where we're going to have some of the labourers, some of the engineers and the more valuable people. These guys are going to be responsible for future technological improvements, and they're going to be supplied by the lumber camp to the left. To the south we have the industrialization sector. It's not much right now, but what we have is a trader hut for outfitting caravans, a lumberyard for creating planks for more advanced structures, and a set of wood choppers providing the firewood for the whole village, vital in the colder season. We have the most valuable village building in the form of the fermenter. This is going to supply cider, beer and mead to the village, and you know that a worker is not going to work without a cold beer. Can relate. Finally, we've got the agricultural sector. We've got a set of apple orchards used for food and also for fermenting, and the hemp farm, which I swear is for medicinal use only. Now we've got the village tour over, we're going to start by loading our caravan. The caravan is going to be loaded with all the materials to create an outpost. Now that's done, we're going to release the caravan, and we're going to check out the neighbouring area and see where we're going to set up our next expansion. Now we've got a few different sectors here, and while I would like to go into sectors like here, there are a few things that we desperately need, primarily being wheat. Now the Kingdom of Friarfeld is close, and it also has the wheat that we need in addition to fish. Now fish is a vital source of food, as we're right next to a lake, so this is a pretty much a no-brainer. We're going to expand in that area. So let's get our caravan and send it over to Friarfeld. Now, while that caravan goes on its way, we have a bit of housekeeping in the village. People aren't happy. Like I said, there's not enough beer to go around. And a shortage of beer is a surefire way to get a riot on your hands. So we're going to do something about that right now. We're going to construct a road. And all of the buildings in your village need to be on a road. Now this fermenter here is actually nowhere near a stockpile for food, and that's one of the problems. So what we can do instead of constructing another food storage building, we're going to remove this and we're going to build it to the south of the farms. Now, one of the things in the game you have to keep note of is that different buildings have different dependencies. And if you build a fermenter, it needs to be somewhere near where you can store the drinks. So we can store it in the food store, and that means there's just enough room here to build some fermenters. Our caravan has arrived, but let's solve the problems at home first. We're going to need a well, and this is going to both supply water for our alcohol still, and also make sure that none of these village farms here, if they get set on fire, are going to burn down. Very useful. Probably something I should have built earlier. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is to get our fermenter on the go. And we're going to build 2 of these bad boys. And we're going to set them up with a road. Probably going to need more than 2, but I don't want to overdo it. Beauty. Okay, so having a look at the unhappy people, yes, it's just cider. They are actually pretty low on firewood, so we can actually do something about that. We've got a logging camp over here, so I can actually start lugging firewood from the opposite direction. So we can build a wood chopping station in this direction. There we go. I mean, we are going to build houses here eventually, but just for now, let's build a station here. Boom. We need a ton of wood. And by building it right next to the lumber camp, we can just lug these trees straight into the wood chopping camp, and boom. That will solve our wood problem. As you can see, we are chopping down a ton of trees here. And eventually we are going to have to worry about running out of trees. So we will have to... The trees do regrow, but I am cutting down a scary amount of forest. Okay, so let's go check out the... Okay, we're making progress. Very good. Now, while those build, we also have kingdom politics to worry about. Now, in this particular case, we have some crazy person that is going around sacrificing animals for some sort of religious ritual. It could be some wacko. It could be something more sinister. So we're going to find out what's going on next. One of our counselors has told us that there are some symbols and an altar. So we can make a choice on how to proceed with the investigation. We are going to find out first what these strange symbols mean. They were crudely drawn and formed from what seemed to be a mixture of mud and blood. Ominous. Perhaps they were images or words. Whatever they were, they seemed significant. I'm also curious about the crystals they're using. They spring up in all manner of places in Nysamor. Nothing like them ever existed in Eldamore. So we're in the kingdom of Nysamor right now. We found these mysterious crystals that most of the people use. They seem to have some magical properties. So I think an investigation into the crystal's origin would be very, very wise. So So basically we have a task to investigate the cult and also learn about the crystals. So now we actually have to choose which to focus on, and I think that the best use of our time would be to find out what these rituals are, in case it's something sinister. And we've made the choice to send a scout to a neighbouring village in the hope to find more information. Fantastic. So now it's time to head over to the outpost and to set up our brand new expansion now that our village is largely happy. We still have a few people that aren't happy about the cider, but as you can see, we are making quite a good amount. So it is going to take time. There is a bit of a production line going, and a bit of time for the products to make it out to the village. But oh, we just have another problem, and that problem is a fire. But as you can see, I have a full complement of villagers. The outpost is going to have to wait. I need to make sure that we're not going to have our village burned down. I mean, we've got enough water. And I was very careful. You can see that all of the buildings are covered via wells. And that's why I was so eager to get a well for the farm. If a fire spread here, we would lose our entire food source in seconds. This is not good either. It seems like the lumber camp is on fire. We are going to lose a building just because the fire's range and severity. Also, it appears there we've got villagers. Now, what I can do is I can get a few villagers and unassign them. And then they can help in the fire effort. There we go. You can see that since I've taken them away from their regular duties, they're now focusing on fighting the fire. And largely, I think we're only going to lose a few buildings. I mean, I'd rather not lose any, but it appears... No, the fire is spread. Let's just check. Now, this area isn't covered. This is not good. This is not covered, so what I'm going to do is we've discovered a tiny chink in my armor here. My network of wells was not foolproof, and as a result we're going to lose a building. It's not a big deal, but yeah, this fire is looking pretty nasty. It's growing exponentially. But I mean, there's not much more we can do. Just wait for it to burn itself out. We may need to replace some buildings, or hopefully these guys will get the fire under control. Let's get some more villagers on the job. At the very least, we need to remove these villagers from these buildings to make sure they're not going to get killed. Because if there's villagers working within a building that's on fire, obviously that's not ideal. As you can see, even with the full setup of multiple wells, it wasn't enough. Not enough. But at least it seems that the fire's largely burned itself out. There we go. No, we do need to repair the structure. So what we'll do is we'll let the fire burn out first. If I repair the structure, it may catch fire again. So we've got these buildings on fire, but as long as this doesn't spread to this other building, I think we're good. Well, that could have been disastrous. We do have some unhappy villagers, though. The side effect of the fire, of course, it has affected our supply chain. So while they mop up the last of the fire, let's head over to our outpost and check on the progress there. Now that we've dealt with the issues at home, it's time to consider expansion. Our caravan has arrived at the new location, and I found a really good clearing where we can start building our outpost. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up our caravan, and we're going to build our trader hut. Now I'm going to try and build it not too far away from where I'm going to set the farmland up, but I want to have enough room to be able to set up some fields. So let's get that built over here. Now this is going to be the farmland. We're going to have multiple farms set up here. But before we even consider farms, we need to worry about building materials. Because we don't have a lot. We've got 50 wood and 50 stone. So first thing we're going to want to do is set up a logging camp. And we're getting a notification that we need to produce wheat. So wheat is very valuable, but we need the basic first. Stone, wood, building materials in general, something to get us going as quick as we can. So the quarry is going to get stone, the lumber camp is going to get wood. We're going to connect them up via a road, like so. Beautiful. Okay, so the people are going to start setting that up. Next thing we're going to need is a stockpile. We need somewhere to store all of these goods. Beautiful. Now we're going to need houses, but these guys are going to have to sleep rough. They're going to sleep in the outpost for a few days, at least until I can sort out enough resources for the housing. Fantastic. You can see all of the villagers are now getting on the work. They're going out to get the stone, they're getting wood, now that they have a spot to store it all. Now I want to get houses, but there's a few other things I want to do first. I want to start setting up farms. We need food, and we need it really, really soon, because these guys are going to starve. So on the edge of town, what I'm going to do is set up a food store, like so, because this means I can get a farm going all the way up to the shoreline. All this is good farmland. It's all good stuff we can use, and I think that is perfect. Beautiful. Next we're going to set up a road, because we're going to want water as well, so let's do that next. We already learned the hard way how vital water is. We need to have water. So there's the well. We're going to set up a... I mean, I would like to have a farm here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. There we go. Beautiful. So we can have farmland here. Now I'm going to start simple. I want to grow wheat, but first of all we need apples. We're going to need these for food, and also for cider. So let's get a couple of apple orchards going. Two of these should be enough. Fantastic. And then to the south, and I think we may have enough for one. I think I could probably set up a hemp farm here. If I move that caravan That will be perfect. Okay, so the hemp farm, of course, is going to be used for exactly what you would imagine. I am, of course, referring to clothing. And then that leaves us a bit of room for a wheat farm to the south. Now, of course, we don't have the resources yet. We are working off a pretty strict timeline, though. People gonna need food. They're gonna need housing. So let's it's not too bad. Let's check our resources. Yeah, we've got enough to build a few houses. So let's get started on that. This is going to be the residential sector here. So let's get those going. And I am going to build like so. Beautiful. So with the houses set up and a basic farm going, we should start to see some happier people. Now, of course, we haven't solved all of their needs yet. They're going to need clothes, they're going to need some cider. There's a bunch of stuff we haven't got yet going. Firewood's probably the next thing we want to worry about, so let's sort that out. Wood chopper, let's get some of those going. These are just going to provide the firewood for the village. I don't want to clear too much of the forest though, so I'm going to try and destroy the least amount of trees possible if I can. Let's get these here. Beautiful. So now I've got wood, stone, firewood, food, and clothing once I build an outfitter. Now, of course, we don't have enough people. We need more people with a population of 20. So we're going to get into the job market. So this is the game has a lot of functionality that I've skipped over because I've already built my village. So that's why I thought building this outpost would be a perfect opportunity to explain how some of these work on a larger scale. Now, we've only got 20 people in the outpost, so I'm going to have to cut some corners. Now, we've got a couple of things I want to prioritise. Obviously, food. Then we're going to want to worry about clothing. Fantastic. Now, what I can do is head back to home and check on things whilst those things build. So as you can see, I've rebuilt after the fire. You wouldn't even know that we lost half the village. Well, not half, but most of our wood cutting operation was heavily impacted. And as you can see, we've still got a bit of a storage problem. We've got a shortage of food. And that's just because our supply chain isn't great. We've got plenty of apples to go around. We haven't got enough people. And this, I'm thinking that maybe we should have a second food storage building because we've got 3 people serving all of these houses and they just can't keep up. So that's something I may need to consider. And I'm thinking building another. I mean, we've got another food storage building here. Something to consider. I may need to build a second food storage building. So also they are running out of clothing, hemp clothing, and that's that of course was a result of the building burning down. So not a great outcome. But well, it seems like we've got a bit of a shortage of hemp. Yes, we do. So we're actually running out of hemp. We're running out of apples too, but for now, what I can do is solve this problem with some additional farms. Let's do that. And we're going to build an additional hemp farm. And for our dimensions, it will probably be 420 by 420. Perfect. So we've got a hemp farm, and we've got plenty of munchies. We've got the apples. So I don't know what these villagers want from me. I'm supplying all of their basic needs. Still got a bit of a shortage on grog. So what I can do to fix that is to build an additional fermenter. I'm going to build it here, so we've got some water. Actually, oh no, it'll be supplied by this well here, so that's fine. Let's get the fermenter here. And here. I mean, we just don't seem to be able to build enough. Oh, and there we go. You can see that the people are now happier. We've resolved the issue with the shortage of alcohol and the shortage of firewood. And now you can see the villagers are happier overall. So before we head back, let's see how we've gone with our investigation. It appears there is a development at the Outfitters. A talented seamstress has discovered a new stitch that could greatly increase productivity. Oh, so I actually thought it might be an investigation into the ritualistic killing of the animals, but it appears we've made a new technological discovery. If your new stitch does outpace the current one, perhaps you should give it a try. The new stitch can be taught throughout the kingdom. The seamsters will be more efficient for generations to come. We've begun again, and new beginnings invite new traditions. Now, of course, there are going to be some people not happy with not maintaining the status quo. Change can be challenging sometimes, but we need to keep up with technological change. So let's move ahead. Beautiful. So now the issues at home are all sorted and our people are happy. Let's head back to our output, or our outpost, and see how things are progressing. Okay, so we've got some people not happy with the shortage of hemp. Don't have any population growth because, of course, people aren't happy. So we need to... Food storage unavailable. Okay, so we've got a couple of other issues which I need to address. That's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop a road here, and we're going to set up food storage in this area. That's going to cover all these houses. So let's bust this out. We've already got food storage up there, but obviously it's not going to cover all these houses. So let's build food storage here. Boom. Obviously, next thing we're going to want to do is get a well. For safety, we can't have any houses burning down on us. Just looking for the overlap. So the well's there. Let's build here, and that'll cover all the main buildings, including our houses. Beautiful. As you can see, we're rapidly getting resources. We've got a bunch of hemp now, so now we can start to build the outfitter. I am probably going to build it to the right here. It seems like naturally our industrialization area has expanded in this direction, so let's continue with that. And build a outfitter. Beauty. Now, it's going to be a bit of... The only thing is, though, because the hemp farm's over here, it's going to be a bit of a trot. So perhaps it might be easier to build in this direction. If I build here, I'm not going to lose too many trees here. Because if I build all the way over here, that hemp is going to have to come all the way down here. It's going to be not very efficient at all. I can probably build behind my town hall. Let's do that. As you can see, you always want to try and keep an eye on location. Make sure that you are building in the most efficient way possible with the least amount of distance to the various resources. So let's move that caravan. We can set the caravan up down here. We can deploy here. There we go. Excellent. So as you can see, with a bit of work, we have now solved the problem with the houses. So all these people are happy apart from the more advanced stuff. So their basic needs are met, and hopefully we should now see an increase in population. That'll go up over time. So let's just make sure, yeah, the houses are empty. We've got enough space. Not enough people. Now eventually we're going to have to worry about their advanced needs, so hemp clothing and cider. So we can set up the cider here. Insufficient resources. Now we got 180 hemp, son. Oh, it's because there's no people. So unfortunately we don't have enough workers because we've got too many people on the go. What have we got? Now we have to do a bit of a juggling act. We got a ton of food, so what I can do is go into the job board and actually cut down the amount of people on the orchard. It's not perfect, but wow, okay. Maybe we'll cut down the people on the hemp farm. And let's see how we're going for wood. Yeah, we've got 200 wood. So what we can do now is cut down on the amount of logging going on. We're kind of playing musical chairs with our villagers, but I've got no choice. We just don't have enough people to go around, so... And what we're going to do is, with the wood choppers, we need to move that up a bit. Okay. And what can we... Oh, no, we don't need more people on the apple orchard. And we don't need more people on this apple orchard. Beautiful. So now we've got people cutting wood. And as you can see, our village has grown very rapidly. This little outpost is turning into a village of its own. Not too bad, not too bad. So all we're going to do is give it a bit of time. The outpost will grow, more people will come, and as we get more people, we'll be able to expand this and then finally set up our wheat farming operation and maybe get some fishing operation going as well. The outpost is really starting to shape up, with the population rising and the average happiness of the people also being quite good. Now the last thing I want to do to really set up this outpost is to construct a trade route. This means that all of the rare resources that are located at the outpost we can begin to ship home. Now we've got enough people, it's time to build a wheat farm. Now, of course, I'm going to need a ton of this, so I'm going to make 2 farming plots. And all of this wheat is going to go straight home. And we're going to be using this for things like animal husbandry. The animals will allow me to harvest things like bones, meat, and hide. Excellent. Now, while those farms begin construction, we can also start to work on it, continuing to expand the population of the people. We're going to need some more houses. So let's get on that. We're going to need a ton of farmers to manage all of this agriculture. So I'm building a ton of houses. And they're going to probably need some alcohol too. So as we construct these, I'm going to build some fermenters, and I'm probably going to... Yep, we're going to get some additional people working on the outfitters to make clothing. As you can see, all of the people have clothing. Well, most of them. And everyone needs cider, so the fermenter's going to be the next step. Now, because of the population, I don't want to build too much at once. I'm going to try and keep the building focused. Fantastic. So we've now got wheat coming in. We've got additional houses, some more people coming in. Population is still rising. Fantastic. And once these excellent, these are built, so we can now construct the fermenter. And of course, I'm going to build this near the orchards, so we can get the apples straight into the fermenters. Also, they're next to the well. So we've got water, we've got apples, and that means beer, which is a win for everyone. Now we've got enough people now to fully staff the farm. There we go, we've got enough people for the food storage, and we've got some people fermenting alcohol too. Now we've had some Waelgrim crystals turn up, and these are a byproduct of the Waelgrim, which is basically a deadly mist which will kill anyone entering it. It's one of the hazards and the reason why our people moved away from their home kingdom. Unfortunately, the Waelgrim has followed us. Excellent. So we've got a bit of a shortage, but eventually we will have enough. Resources. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've got enough wheat, we can begin to set up our trade route. And this means that the wheat is going to go back to home, so I'm creating a new trade route with a new caravan, and I am going to say we're going from our outpost in Firefeld, and we are going to send a shipment of wheat. Now, of course, we don't have enough to do this yet, so we'll have to wait until we have 100 wheat. And we are going to send that back to our main kingdom in Dranoth. And I'm going to add another separate trade route, because we've got 2 caravans. And it's going to go from Dranoth, and we're going to send logs to our outpost. Fantastic. So we've got one trade route set to export wheat back to our main kingdom, and another trade route to send logs from our main kingdom to the outpost, because we've got a ton of additional resources. In fact, what I might do is add some. Let's delete this route. And I'm just thinking, if we're going to be sending stuff, we might as well be sending a few different resources. We've got so much stuff in storage. We can add hemp. I'm gonna add a bit of everything. I think we're good for water. I'm thinking rope would be good. Yeah, we've got a ton of rope. Now these of course are resources we can make here, but since our main base has so much additional resources, there's only so much you can store at a time. So I believe we'll add some food as well, because we've got a ton of apples. So let's just send the max. Fantastic. Awesome. So what we've got is we're sending the wheat from our outpost back to the main base, and we're sending resources from our main base to the outpost. And with that, we've now got a working trade route. That's obviously going to take some time, and those caravans, oh, you can see the caravan's already moved, so it's already doing its thing. There it goes, it's on its way. Fantastic. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to check on the latest event which has occurred. A great commotion stirs outside the keep. A furious man, sword in hand, claims he'll fight anyone who stands between him and the ruler who he plans to confront. A growing crowd is in awe of the spectacle, and his blade has already managed to inflict serious wounds on some of Haywood's soldiers. The Duke and the Chancellor believe that they know how best to handle such violence. It's this guy swinging around a sword. To feel frustration towards decision made to be critical of the kingdom's progress, that is treason to you. Well, I think it became treason when he started waving a sword around. It appears that Sir Haywood has captured the man, and we have a couple of decisions to make here. We have a decision to make with a few options. I'm going to leave it to Sir Haywood because he was the one who arrested the man. At least 3 of my men suffer greatly from this man's battle throws. Could have been common folk as well. But he reeks of alcohol. Okay, so they're just going to lock him up. So it appears that the citizens were pretty happy with that. We've got some gold, and we've got some happiness. So I think that was a pretty good decision. So now we've set up the trade route, and we've got resources coming and going from the outpost. We've got a self-sufficient secondary location. There's one more thing I have to do to get these houses working, which will be to add a stockpile. There we go. So I'm going to leave it here. The secondary outpost is set up. We've managed to create a brand new mini kingdom from scratch, and this place is now fully operational. All we have to do is sit back, wait for our population to continue to grow, and then we can start to branch into more advanced processes. There is metal in this location as well. We can set up a mine. We can start doing some smelting, getting some more advanced tools, starting to research advanced technologies. But for now, I think this has given you a good indication on whether you want to try this game out. Now, I will address some of the reviews. The game did get some mixed reviews from people complaining that there were some bugs. And in my own experience playing the game, I did encounter some of these. The main ones are issues with sometimes quests not being triggered, and sometimes you have to load the game in order for the quests to complete. There are also some problems with performance, so you probably notice the game does kind of slow down from time to time, and it does need a little bit of optimization in terms of the visuals, but to be honest, it's been a pretty good experience for me, at least personally. I haven't experienced too many issues, and the bugs I have experienced are usually resolved by loading the game. But with that being said, the developer does need to do a little bit more work on some of the event management in the game. I really am not a fan of having to load the game in order to get these quests to complete. I've had to do that a few times, and that's the main issue with me for the game. But it's not enough for me to stop playing. I think there's far more positive in this game than there is negative. It's a really solid city builder. There's a lot of fun to be had here. You can have many hours of enjoyment, and if you're a fan of city building games, you could do far worse. Now, of course, I am biased because being Australian, I want this Australian publisher to succeed. But if you're a fan of city building games, if you checked out some of my other work, like Kingdoms and Castles and Feudal Lords, then this game's going to be a natural choice for you. But just be aware it's a little rough around the edges when you go in. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you'll check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a like. Leave me a subscribe, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.